Back here in Europe, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is making a fourth attempt to force a snap election, and it looks like this time round he will succeed. Opposition leader Jeremy Corbyn says his party is now ready to back an early poll because the danger of the UK leaving the European Union without an agreement has passed. Johnson has been pushing for an election in the hope of winning a majority in Parliament. He's abandoned his goal of taking Britain out of Europe by October 31st. All right, let's get you the latest on these new developments. Joining us from London is DW correspondent Charlotte Potts. Good to see you, Charlotte. So it looks that Prime Minister Boris Johnson got the early elections he so badly wanted. What happens now?
Well, it does look like a general election is now finally in the cards for the UK. And I say finally because Boris Johnson, as you mentioned, has been trying to push it through Parliament 3 times already. Today is the 4th attempt. And what changed is that the opposition Labour Party has now made up their minds. They want to back a general election. And it looks likely that tonight they are going to vote for it. The question now is really on the details, on timing of this general election. It will be pre-Christmas. They are talking about the 9th, the 11th or the 12th, and it's a bit petty, this whole thing on when this is supposed to happen, but we will finally see what happens tonight in the Houses of Parliament when they decide on this general election, and then the parties will have 6 weeks to campaign before we see the voters here in the UK go to the polls.
All right, 6 weeks to campaign. Now, how likely is it, Charlotte, that Johnson's Conservative Party will emerge as the stronger, I should say, this time around at the ballot box?
Well, polls suggest at the moment that they will be the strongest party, that they could get a slight majority in Parliament. And this is what Boris Johnson has been counting on. He's been so eager to get his general election, and he's really looking forward to campaign. He said the reasoning behind this is that he wants to get a fresh mandate from the British people, a yes, so to say, from the voters on his Brexit strategy. And then he finally wants to see his Brexit deal through. But we also have to keep in mind Boris Johnson let go of his promise that the UK would leave the European Union this upcoming Thursday on October 31st. There is now an extension in place until the end of January. And so we have to see how well this sits with voters. I think 6 weeks is a long time in British politics, and many things can change, of course, in the polls.
All right. What does this all mean for Brexit?
Well, the Houses of Parliament, we've seen that over the past year. It became very clear that there is no majority on anything regarding Brexit. So it's really been a terrible deadlock here in British politics. And general election, of course, could shake up the numbers in Parliament. If we look at where the parties stand on the issue, the Conservatives, of course, want to push that Brexit deal through, leave the European Union. The Labour Party has not quite made up their mind. The Liberal Democrats, they want to forget about Brexit altogether, revoke Article 50, and then there is also a new kid on the block, the Brexit Party. They want to make clear cut with the European Union as soon as possible. And I think what this general election, if we then see it pre-Christmas, boils down to is that the British voters will finally have a say again on whether they want Brexit after all, or what kind of Brexit they indeed want.
All right, Charlotte Potts reporting from London. Thank you.